Hello, kobolds of the internet. It's CC here with the Crucible character, and we have another story here from Reddit today. This coming from the r/no sleep subreddit by TopGain2728. Starts out like this. If you've ever loved someone, really loved them, you'll understand why I didn't see it sooner. Love isn't blind, it's selective. It chooses what to look at, and I didn't want to see the cracks. I met Aaron in my last year of college. He wasn't my type at first. Too tall, too quiet, too still. But he had this way of listening to me that made me feel like I was the only person in the room. We got married 3 years later. For the first 5 years, we were the cliché perfect couple. Vacations, dinner parties, inside jokes. He never raised his voice, never lost his temper. If I had to describe him in one word, it would have been safe. But then, little things started to bother me. It began with the basement. Aaron didn't let me down there. Not in a don't touch my tools way, more in a the door's always locked way. He said it was because the steps were steep and I was clumsy, and I believed him. For a while. Then there was the laundry. Once a week, he'd wash his clothes alone. Not with mine. Not even in the same load as his other clothes. Just one set. Jeans, a long sleeve shirt, and an old hoodie. Always dark colors. Always late at night. I'd wake up at 2 a.m. to the sound of the dryer, but he'd never let me help fold them. Said it was just work clothes. The first real crack appeared one night in January. Aaron was late coming home, really late. I stayed up waiting, pacing the living room, imagining car accidents or ER visits. When he finally came in at almost 3 a.m., his hands were shaking, his hoodie was damp, and there was a smear of something dark on his cuff. Paint, he told me, but I knew he was lying. 2 weeks later, the news broke. A young woman had been found in a drainage ditch on the edge of town, beaten, strangled. The police didn't have a suspect. The photo they showed on TV was haunting, not because I knew her, but because I recognized the ditch. It was less than a mile from where Aaron worked. I tried to ignore the thought, I really did, but the coincidences kept piling up. He'd come home late. The news would have another report of a missing woman, and every single one had been last seen near the industrial park where Aaron's office was. I started noticing his work clothes more, the way they smelled, metallic, like pennies and bleach, the way he kept them separate, the way he never threw them out, no matter how worn they got. The night it all clicked, I wasn't even looking for proof. I was looking for wrapping paper in the closet when I found the shoebox. It was tucked behind old coats, wrapped in a garbage bag. Inside were photographs, dozens of them, all women. Some smiling in daylight, some taken at night, their faces lit by a camera flash. Some were asleep, some were clearly dead. I dropped the box. It was like my body refused to hold it. When Aaron came home, I tried to act normal. I couldn't. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. He noticed. Of course he noticed. What's wrong? He asked. I opened my mouth to lie, but then I saw it. A single hair stuck to his sleeve. Large, blonde. I'm brunette. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't move. I just lay there, listening to him breathe next to me, wondering how many women had fallen asleep beside him and never woken up. The next morning, I called the police from my car. I told them everything, the clothes, the shoebox, the smell. They told me to leave the house and wait. That was 2 weeks ago. They arrested him quietly in our driveway. I watched from a neighbor's window as they pulled him out in handcuffs. He didn't fight. He didn't even look surprised. They found 6 bodies. They think there are more. I'm giving this statement now because I don't know how else to get it out of me. Because I keep replaying every dinner, every kiss, every night curled up against him, and wondering how many times I almost became number 7. If you're reading this, and you think you know the person you're with, check again. Some monsters don't growl. They smile and ask you about your day, and hold your hand while they wash the blood out of their clothes. The end. Well, that was a very short story for today, but I did really appreciate it. I think there is a lot to learn from this one. I think a lot of times we get an idea of who someone is in our heads, and then we kind of choose to overlook anything that changes or anything that doesn't fit that perception. I know in times when I've tried to have a relationship that's long distance or even more long term, it's easy to kind of have that fantasy of who they are, who you want them to be, and not look past that. I think that's definitely the takeaway for this story. Make sure that you understand who you're with and understand that people change, and sometimes they do like to put on a mask for you. I know that in some small ways at least, most of us have some type of mask. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been CC. Talk to you next time. Bye.